It amazes me when I see people demanding to know the truth, showing so much interest in knowing the truth, but at the very instant what is presented in its pure form, they run, they avoid, they fight, they distort, they manipulate, because they do not want to face the discomfort that is being brought up in that moment as they are facing what is, things as they are, the flow of life, unaltered, unmodified, unfiltered through any perception. Yet they will say they want to do the work, they want to heal, they want to become better. And in doing all of this, they are finding the convenient moments. But the moment discomfort comes up, they try to run away from it. Facing truth requires courage, because truth is not a concept. And that is why I say that ultimately all masters, all teachers are a part of this illusion too. Everything that is being presented to you in the name of truth is a concept, it's a construct. Every teaching, every scripture, every word uttered by any human being is a concept. But when the concept is taken in totally and things are seen from the unfiltered perspective, the direct vision of what is, it is then that a possibility arises. A possibility to experience something deep, something profound, and go beyond that which is limited. But we get caught up because we've become so used to avoiding discomfort that we'll fight for it, but not face what is. And this is the reason why spiritual masters try to break the illusion, break the fantasy. Now, most people say that they want to know the truth, but truth requires breaking imagination, breaking fantasy. And that fantasy is so deeply ingrained in them that even a slightest touch over there creates a volcano of emotional outbursts. They don't want to go there. They don't want to face the inner monsters. Yet they say they are spiritual. They are busy performing rituals, which is again a form of avoidance. They are busy reading poetry, which is again a form of avoidance. Reading books, listening to spiritual teachers, it is all avoidance. It is all based on not facing things as they appear, as they are, but wanting to modify the content, wanting to modify the perception to suit personal interests, so that the separative mind can expand. Because that is the agenda of the separative mind, to create conflict. It thrives on conflict, on entanglement. It fears clarity, because clarity means no mind. And no mind is the possibility for truth. So this hypocritical nature of humanity is there. It is present in all of us, including myself. And that is why you find spiritual teachers contradicting themselves often. I do not consider myself to be a teacher, But I do accept that I have a certain understanding and I feel like expressing and sharing my opinions and views. Now, how it is taken on the other end is neither my concern nor in my control. All I can do is just share my experiences. And if it helps somebody, I feel gratitude. I will not sit here and say that I'm completely detached and unaffected. No, the human aspect of me lives. And it is there in all sages. Body consciousness can be low because of the impact of teaching, but it cannot be reduced to zero. Because phenomenality or manifestation, as we know, does not allow it. Even the sages react. Even they have imperfections. They break hearts too. They can be violent, they can be angry, upset. But everything happens momentary. So to accept what is, it requires courage. Courage to face, first of all. Face yourself, face your inner world. What is happening inside your own inner world. But often what happens is that the discomfort is so great the moment we encounter a piece of information that we immediately start projecting. The mind immediately externalizes, moves away from its own core because that feels uncomfortable. So pinning a blame on certain people, certain objects. But that is how the separative mind expands, and that is how the suffering propagates. But when the same mind internalizes, by internalizes I mean when it turns inward on itself, it gets to see what is being played out and how its efforts to expand is creating this pain and suffering. But if the mind is completely externalized, if the emphasis is always on, I want to select certain parts, I do not want the other parts. That is going against the flow of life. I only want pleasure, I do not want pain. I want to see perfection in human organism, but I do not want to even touch upon the flaws, which is very conditional acceptance. It does not happen like this. A human entity is flawed by design. Even the great sages have their flaws. Everybody gets angry. Everybody gets emotional. They get upset. No enlightenment, no awakening will permanently cease these things. Some days they will feel compassion, other days they will not feel compassion. That is also true. And if you feel that just a certain insight or certain understanding of a certain aspect of life will all of a sudden change this entire thing and make you into a perfect human being, always in a state of perpetual bliss, then that is a fantasy. And that is why I feel teachers, poets, and people who build up fantasy and imagination are all illusory. In this illusion that we called waking state or life as we know. They write great things. They talk about great things. They talk about love, compassion. They talk about understanding. But at the core of it, they're completely contradicting themselves because their actions do not match their words. Somebody can spend days writing about compassion, human compassion, and yet be very unruly and very unkind to selective people or to a group of people who are around them. Someone can sing devotional songs and praises on God and what God is and how compassionate God is, but at the same time be completely cruel to people or animals around them and say that I've got nothing to do with you because I love God. And my first question is, if you really love God, why can you not see God in people around you? First of all, the one who's closest to you and serving you and being there for you as your companion, why can you not see God in them? Why can you not accept that the flaws they carry are also God's design? Doesn't mean we have to always get along with people or stay in abusive or uncomfortable situations. But we can certainly love. Because love does not require discrimination. It does not require division into what is good, into what is bad. Love simply is the recognition of wholeness. And wholeness includes everything. It does not exclude anything. So till you come with a defensive, filtered, conditioned mind to see, to try to understand with that limited consciousness, you will never be able to see what is. What is the absence of you, the personality. It is witnessing. It is direct perception. And only in that, the true nature of things is revealed. Rest, we can keep reading beautiful poetries all our life, yet remain unhappy, remain restless and irritated. But the moment the illusion breaks, the fantasy breaks, and all that the teachers, the genuine spiritual teachers have done is they have broken illusions. And they don't care how painful it is for you. You are saying, I want purity. I want the crux of the teaching. I want the essence. I want thing that is untouched. But the teacher is saying, for that you have to step into the mud and accept the dirty parts of it. Accept the impure parts of it. Because without that, you'll never be able to access that dimension which is beyond. And the thing is that we are not willing to do that. We want to get out of the quicksand, but we want to magically appear clean on the other end. It doesn't happen like that. You will get dirty. You will fail. You will have to accept new things, new information, new possibilities. You will have to accept the flow of life as it is. And then there will be no need to know the truth, because you itself will realize yourself as the truth, as the pure essence. With all your flaws, with all your reactions, with all your brokenness, which is God's perfect design, because you are a beautiful human being. And beauty includes all of this. Love includes all of this. Mind is selective, love is not selective. This was said by Nisargadatta Maharaj. The moment selection comes, moment you wanting to choose comfort over discomfort, there is no possibility for truth. That is why they say spiritual path requires courage. It is not a path of avoidance, it is a path of acceptance. And yes, it can take time. And yes, avoidance is also included in this. But ultimately, acceptance of avoidance will enable you to pass through the avoidance and get more and more into acceptance of things as they are. Humanity is not perfect. It is not designed to be perfect, because if humanity was perfect, there would be no life as we know. There would be no realization of beauty, love, without pain and suffering. It is all a part of the same process. It's two sides of the same coin. It's two aspects of one common underlying factor, which is the truth. So to realize the truth, both have to be accepted. The discomfort has to be embraced. If you want to be comfortable, then spiritual path is not for you. Keep wandering, keep looking, keep acquiring, keep accumulating, and see where it lands you. See where it puts you. But right now, if you surrender totally to this moment, accepting whatever life brings with all its perfections and imperfections so perceived, then you can certainly go beyond. Because then you have opened the gateway, you have lowered your head and entered into the gate where truth awaits you, where the open fields await you. As Rumi said, beyond the right doings and the wrong doings, I will meet you in the open fields.